What's up YouTube, it's your girl AK and we are back with another video. This is a special one, okay? Today we are talking about the project that got me my very first job. Yes, we're talking about the project that put me on the map, the project that got me my opportunity. We're talking about my senior year capstone project, and I'm gonna break it down into 4 main parts that you can take away to implement in your project. So these 4 things will add a lot of value to your personal projects, and it will definitely help you stand out to those employers. So without further ado, I wanna go ahead and show y'all my project and just show y'all what's going on. All right. So right here we have our submission video for our school. This is our Help for Neighbor project. If you wanna watch the full video, I will leave the link down in the description. So let's get into it. All right, so here is a quick snapshot of a tech stack that we use. Here's all of our front end stuff. Here's all the things we use for the back end and then the database. I'm not gonna go all into that. Y'all can pause the video and read it, but this is basically what we use, and I'm gonna go more into detail about our technology stack after this demonstration. Right now you can see there's our homepage. Everything looks pretty sniffy. Our teammate, she's gonna show us how we're gonna log in and how you can sign up as well. All right, so right now my teammate, she's showing us how to create a user. So you can create a user by having your first name, last name, username, email, or password, and go ahead and submit that. All right, so as you can see right now, she went ahead and filled in these populations. We have nanabepoppin as our username, nanabepoppin@gmail.com as our email, and we're gonna go ahead and create this account.
Exclamation mark. Submit that, y'all.
You see we have this, see you have a spinner icon going. All right, and as of right now, you can see it. Once you are signed in, it automatically takes you to your profile where you can look at your saved locations. We're gonna get there soon. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but we actually have a little toast icon here at the bottom that basically says your account has been registered and you know, you can basically sign in now. So just to show you that it works, she's actually gonna log in right now. She's gonna watch her click the button.
Log in with those credentials we just did.
All right, and as you can see, she went ahead and put in the username and the password, and she's gonna log in right now.
1, 2, 3. And then we'll log in. So that
was and there you go, we just authenticated a user. All right, so right here we're showing the search page, the main function of Helpful Neighbor.
Here we're in Hammond, America. You can move around the map. You can zoom in, zoom out.
As you can see, it's a very interactive map. Move around
a little bit.
So right now she has homeless shelter in the search bar, right? So basically what it's gonna do, it's gonna take the keyword homeless shelter and it's gonna do a search within our database. It's gonna find any keyword that is kind of related to homeless shelter, and it's gonna give us back those results. So she's gonna hit search, and as you see on the side, so right now we actually got 38 search results from the keyword of homeless shelter, right? So as you can see right now, it's taking your current location and it's calculating the distance between you and that location to get an idea of what's close and what's not. It's giving you the address of that location. It's giving you the website, the phone number as well. And we also can click this little drop down right here. She's gonna show you
phone number.
And here you can see the hours of operation. So basically you see with this particular establishment, it's open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. So this, we're kind of displaying like an object within an object, right? We kind of have that complex nesting of relationships here. So right now she's saying, hey, our search is a little too broad. I don't really want 38 search results. I want to narrow it down. So she's gonna search by parish and get a narrow search.
This works. Let's filter by parish.
All right, and you can see now we have 4 search results. It's only pulling locations related to homeless shelters in the Cadio parish. All right, so right here, here's another example, right? So we are basically looking for food banks in the Orleans parish, right? So we went ahead and searched that down. Right here, I'm gonna show an example of how we can save it. So right now, I'm clicking the save icon, and when you click that save icon, it actually takes that current location as an object and adds it to like a list, basically. So this is like it's creating a new listing of like saved objects that you can refer back to. And you're about to see it right here. It's by clicking this bookmark feature. As I click it, you can see I have a spinner. And it's current. See how it loads and processes, and then now you see it's colored right here. All right, and right here you can see we have the Orleans parish, the New Orleans Mission Food Bank right here. It gives you the distance. You can view more details about it from here, or you can go back to the map from here. I'm just gonna show you how to simply delete it by clicking that X. All right, so right here we have our 2 different food banks. I'm gonna go ahead and delete one by clicking the X. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this little X right here at the top like this. And bye-bye. All right, and as you can see right there, we click the X and it's gone. All right, so right here, we pull up the mobile application. This is on the Android platform right now. It's not on iOS. Maybe one day coming soon, we'll see. But here you can see we also have a similar map, and we do the same functions of like dragging around.
Wow, y'all have everything.
So right now here we're showing that you can actually filter the search. So right now we're searching for domestic violence, and we can see we have the drop down for hours of operation for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all that. We're just kind of showing the results there. You can log in with the same username and it'll be popping. So we're actually using a similar code base. So everything is running from the same APIs, the same database, same code base, same everything. That's the great thing about React and React Native. You can run everything from the same code base and it'll work just fine. And it saves you a lot of time of writing a whole new code base for a whole new platform. So after getting a quick look at our senior project, the first thing I want to talk about is the front end. We chose a popular framework to use for our front end. So we use React. React is a very popular framework. It's definitely growing in popularity. I highly recommend you learn React. Yes, vanilla JavaScript is good to know, it's important. However, having a popular framework with it only makes things a lot easier to work with. You have other components you can use instead of making everything from scratch. You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, which is very important. So some other popular frameworks is Angular. I know a lot of people use Angular, it's very popular. Vue.js is another one that's very popular. And then jQuery. jQuery is a little older, however, it's still being used in some websites, especially websites that were developed a little while ago. So since you see like those things still going into production, it's nice to know those things and have that background. I actually used jQuery during my internship, which was it fun to learn? But I got to use React too, so it's good, it's all good. Okay, the second thing that's very important to add into your project is having a strong backend framework, right? You still want those popular frameworks that are very used within the industry, right? So we use ASP.NET as our backend. So C#, of course, was the chosen language. C# is a great language. If you don't know C#, I highly recommend you learn C#. C# is great, it's amazing. Like,
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
But just knowing .NET, understanding the lingo, understanding the syntax for .NET, just being familiar with Microsoft's documentation is very, very, very helpful. I highly recommend you check it out. Let's say C# is not your thing though, and you're kind of looking towards more other languages to do your backend stuff, I got you. Another popular backend framework, Express. If you're really strong in JavaScript and you want to use JavaScript on the backend as well, Express is an option to use. I know a lot of people that use Node.js and Express together, and I actually used that in like a small project in college, and I thought it was pretty cool, very quick to set up for sure. Okay, now let's say you're a Python person, you want to use Python for your backend. The Django is a very popular one. I also use the Django. I thought it was okay. You know, I'm not really a Python girl, but I think for the task I had to do, building an API with the Django was pretty easy, pretty fast. And I can see how useful it is if you need to build an API pretty quickly. And then another backend I've heard is Spring Boot. I haven't used Spring Boot, but I've heard it's great. I know there's a big Spring Boot community that really pushes it. I haven't really heard of a lot of it for like the industry per se, but if you want to learn Spring Boot, like, go ahead, do more research on it to see what is more in demand. But if you're looking for like in-demand backend frameworks, Express, the Django, ASP.NET for sure. Pick one and learn one. Okay, the third main part about my project that was very important and helped me get my first job, Restful APIs. So Autumn, what is a Restful API? This is my best explanation of an API. Imagine you're going to a restaurant, right? You have your customer, you have the waiter, and then you have the cooks in the kitchen. So when you go to a restaurant, when you want to order your food, you read the menu and you ask the waiter, hey, this is what I want. You send a request. The waiters are API. The waiter goes and fulfills that request and brings it to the kitchen. The kitchen is your back end, right? It's the one that's having all this data that can pull stuff from your database, right? So you order the chicken pot pie, I don't know, and you ask the waiter, hey, bring me a chicken pot pie. So the waiter takes your request, brings it to the kitchen, the back end, right? In the back end, they go ahead and they cook up, they fetch that data or that meal, and then the waiter takes it and brings it back to you, the customer. The customer in this example will be the front end. So what the client sees, what the user interacts with. So an API is basically this great example of abstraction of computer science where you don't wire up the back end to the front end. You have the messenger that kind of does the requests and the responses for you, which is really great when it comes to refactoring code. But to explain the API in more technical terms, an API is a programming interface that uses HTTP requests to manipulate data in these type of ways. So if your website website has the function where you can get, create, update, delete data, that is big, that is huge. You need, that is an essential, that's probably the most important thing to have on your website, is the ability to do those 4 things. Okay, and the final and 4th thing that helped my project stand out, and things that you definitely need in your project as well, you need the ability to authenticate and authorize users. So what is the difference between authentication and authorization? Authentication is basically the website confirming your identity and saying, hey, you are who you say you are. So this is your username and password situation. Once you have verified that you are who you say you are, that is authentication. Authorization is, okay, you are this person that has this role, this is what you have access to. So on Instagram, you have all the permission in the world to change your own pictures, to edit your own pictures, to add and delete your own pictures, right? But you cannot touch anybody else's post, you can't take down anybody else's post. But an administrator on Instagram, they would have permission to take down anybody's post, report it, flag it, do whatever to that post, right? Because they have those administrative permissions. They have that authorization. So that's the difference between authentication and authorization. If you can replicate that in your website, yeah, they're gonna like you a lot. They're gonna be like, oh, she's impressive. Yeah, I like your site. Come work for me. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just a very valuable thing to know and understand. So if you want to look into authentication, if you're using the ASP.NET backend, I recommend checking out Microsoft Identity. It's a library for Microsoft where basically it kind of helps you set up like your users and your roles and password management. It has just a password for you. It sorts it for you. You don't have to worry about that. You're great. You're gonna have a very you're gonna have good security, right? Microsoft Identity is a great one. Another one, if you're not using that C# backend, or if you are, you still can use this. JSON Web Token, that's another great one. Basically, it uses web tokens, so you get the token of the user and you authenticate it that way. And there's other ways. You can get cookies if you ever heard of cookies, but I think JWT is a pretty solid choice to learn for sure. Whatever your preference is, like, learn some type of authentication and authorization. Okay, y'all, well, that's all for this video. I just want to give y'all like an idea of kind of what you're looking for your site. You do not have to implement all these things in one project. This was a very big project. It took us the semester. Really, it took us longer than the semester. We started like in the summer. We started planning out all this stuff, right? So it was a very big project for us. And everybody has different experience levels, but if you could just take your time and implement one of these things into each of your projects, you will definitely see some growth. You'll definitely see why it's valuable. And putting on your resume, you'll feel very proud about what you've done, right? So I just highly recommend you check it out. If you have any questions, hit me up down below in the description. I'll be happy to answer. But I think besides that, I think that's pretty much it, y'all. Yeah, that's it. I hope y'all have a great, blessed, amazing day. Until next time, bye.